Welcome everyone to this edition of Hardcore Wrestling Radio's In the Moment. I am your hardcore host Rick Head, and I am joined by the classic wrestling manager Joseph Knight. Joe, what's up?
Not much. It's been a while. It's good to be back. We got a couple of things in the news, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's start off. And this is something I think we should talk about. It's not really newsworthy because it's already happened, but Paul Ellering came back with the Authors of Pain, and it looks like it wasn't a one-time deal. It looks like he's going to be staying for a while. Um, I, Now, I read an article where even Animal was not really pleased with the whole situation. He respects Paul, but this whole Authors of Pain thing is it's just not going to work. He thinks it's going to be like a bad version of Powers of Pain.
Well, you know what? Right now, WWE is trying to go back into the PG era, so they're trying to bring back stuff that really catches the attention. Let's face it. I said it on this show many times, and on HWR chat room. We're and on my Twitter. You know, we're missing the the gimmicks, the stuff that really stands out. It's okay, we don't see no more the ravishing ones, the magnificent ones, the we don't see the machos or the Mr. Wonderfuls. We don't see the flowing robes no more. Something that makes really identifies with an individual. Like in the modern era today, I gotta say the one that stands out, Rick, is Bobby Roode. But we're not talking about Bobby Roode. We're back to the what would you call him? The Legion of Doom version 3, because Ascension was version 2, wasn't it?
Actually, no. Like I said, Animal said it perfect. That reminds me of like a bad version of Powers of Pain, and the Powers of Pain did nothing. But let's move along. As there's been reports that WWE is now still on good terms with Hulk Hogan, and eventually plan on bringing him back into the fold at some point in time. Uh, Now, if you ask me, I don't think he should have been, like released in the first place. Sometimes you gotta back your guys up, but WWE, they're too afraid of the smallest, slightest little controversy.
Oh, absolutely. But I did call it. I did say that they were sometime down the road they're going to look to bring Hogan back, and I think at this stage they're looking again for that star power. Um, they shouldn't have got rid of him, but now they see it as an opportunity, and I say that again as an opportunity for to bring him back, make money off of him, put him back again in his next year's, or maybe they'll give it back to him his position in the Hall of Fame, or they'll reinduct him. Um, I think the first time was always the best way to do it and leave it at that. Just say, here's your ring, here's your place, bye bye. But they're gonna market this guy. They're gonna really make the money, and I guarantee you, Rick, once he re-enters, you're gonna see like Hulk Hogan DVDs come out, and a Hulk Hogan show on like a kind of a like a small documentary or reflection of his career on the network. Yeah, you tell him.
Yeah, I don't think
What up?
that's. In all seriousness, I can see him coming back and them doing, like you said, the DVDs and stuff. Getting reinducted, I don't think they're gonna do that. They're just gonna quietly put him back in there and just leave it at that. Again, as I said before, Hulk Hogan should have never have been sent out. What he said was behind closed doors. He didn't realize it was being recording, and it was just completely an injustice on my behalf, regardless of what he said. Even though I don't approve of what he said, but let's now move along. Jimmy Snuka is deemed that he was not fit for trial, so basically he literally got away with murder.
Uh, Absolutely. The coconut syndrome is right past him now. I think he's doing like a meet and greet somewhere that's going to happen.
It's gonna be at WrestleCon on WrestleMania weekend. That I think is for WrestleMania 33. Excuse me.
Well, put it like this: he, unless he's going to jump on tables and rant and rave like a crazy wild man at the convention, really, I can see him being, if he's mentally incompetent, all he has to do is have someone tell him sign this, sign that. He can get away with it. But yeah, here's a guy that literally murdered someone else. There's no denying the fact he did murder the person, you know, and yet here he is, going to trial. And like I see with the criminal system, you know, if you got some pull, some money, or something, you can get away with it. Now, granted, I studied law. The statute of limitations should have been in effect, and he should have never been uh, put into this trial in the first place because
Well,
the statute of limitations were there. It's like trying to retrial 95-year-old Nazis. What the hell are you going to do with them? They're already freaking halfway dead. What are you going to do? Lock them up?
well, if it's, I believe he was charged with involuntary manslaughter. Now, I don't know if that has a statute of limitations. I know murder does not. So,
Right.
um, but again, like I said, I mean, he pretty much got away with it scot free, and yet he has no problems doing a meet and greet. So, I guess we'll have to see how about that one. Now, here's one of the hottest topics that's been on. Paige is now taking a photo shoot in Playboy. Now, guys, before all you guys get all excited, get a heart on. She's actually doing a non-nude photo shoot. There's no topless. It's just going to be pretty much side of her tit job, pretty much, as you see on the picture here. That is probably going to be the most exposed picture.
Well, and right now, Playboy is also going to be redoing its magazine. So the era of nude in magazines is no longer going to be in there. You know, kind of blows the. You think their record sales have gone down? Their sales are going to go really down when there's no nudes in there. You know, Paige. It's I always said it. She looks like an 18-year-old kid. Doesn't have the body of a supermodel. Doesn't have the big boobs that they usually have in Playboy and all that. You know, it's you had women like Trish Stratus. Um, you have Sunny who was in there when she was in her prime. You know, you had many beautiful women that were in Playboy. For them to start going into saying, "Oh, we're bringing in Paige," nude or not, it, you know, what did McMahon have to pay them to do that? Because she's not ugly, but she's not a big blossomed woman herself.
Well, she is a smaller frame, but if you ask me, I think she's sexy as hell. When I saw the photos, I was like, wow. And the fact that Playboy is actually going to get rid of nude, that makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Well,
Because,
let me cut you off, Rick. The reason they're doing that because let's face it, the internet has ruined lives. So let's put it this way, business wise and professional. It's why buy a magazine for I don't know whatever it costs nowadays. Let's say $10. Why buy something with $10 when you could just Google something and pull it up for free? That's the mentality. They have to come up with something different. Is it going to work? Don't think so. But it's something worth trying because let's face it, it's like porn. Do we anybody really buy porn videos anymore?
only the
Everything's
super
online.
freaks.
Yeah, it's like no, I'm just download it like everybody else. That's the problem with the internet. So you know, I would like to see how it works out by the end of the year. See how much sales they get, but no nudes in Playboy and Page in there. You know what? If I wanted to see someone in Playboy, if I would have had put Natty in there because she has a build. Um, Sasha Banks probably would have been a better choice. Well, I'm not even going to mention Reed Flair. I mean, Charlotte Flair. Um, you know, it could have been anybody else, but okay. But you know what makes it funny? She got into an argument with her boyfriend Alberto Del Rio in a parking lot. Almost got arrested.
That is not true. Hold on, let me stop you right there. That was a
Misprint.
misprint. Well, what had happened actually is both her and Del Rio went to an event after the pay per view, and there were, I guess there was some hecklers, drunken hecklers. That was a couple that was across from there saying, "You guys are fake wrestlers. You are fake wrestling. You're nobodies." They just tried to play it off, and then the couple got up and got in Paige and Del Rio's face. And that's when things really started to go wrong, and they're starting to fighting and arguing. there was no physical contact, but because of the what happened, they actually had to handcuff everybody and bring them to the hospital, and that's just the policy of how it was in Las Vegas. Once they realized that they were fine, they were released, and there were no charges filed. So, in all sense, it really was not either El Del Rio nor Paige's fault. And secondly, they were not fighting.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know. See, it's good to have some actual thing, and I got to give it to them. Back in the '80s, if people, this was the golden rule. If you're a wrestler or a manager or anybody involved in the business, and people heckled you and says, "Oh, fake, fake," the rule was in the locker room, and from promoters and a lot of old timers will tell you, you go out and show how much of a fake you are by hitting people. You go out and actually blacken an eye, break a rib. That was the rule. You hurt them, that's more than they can hurt you. And that was the rule. So, yeah, you know what? Good thing that they stood up, and it's good to have the story cleared out.
Yeah, like I said, I mean that story for a long time. Everybody assumed that it was either a fight between Alberto Del Rio or she was running out drunk, and it just simply wasn't the case. She was drinking, but she wasn't like hammered. So again, just sometimes the stories just kind of get out of hand a little bit.
You
Um,
know what? I gotta say this. Imagine her drunk with Sheamus. What a linguistic nightmare that will be. Can you? You wouldn't even understand a word they're saying.
Wow. Uh, one last thing I do want to talk about real quick was Roman Reigns. He's been suspended for the 30 days due to wellness check, and they kind of brought it up in the storyline on Raw. And I don't know if that was really appropriate. What was your thoughts on that?
I saw that, and you know what? I don't think it's appropriate because it you know, they're glorifying the guy's failing a wellness program. You know, that's saying two things. Either he was on something and he got busted, and they're praising and they're kind of continuing writing him in, or they're making it look like, because that's what Seth Rollins made it look like, that hey, he's a piece of crap who failed his wellness policy. He failed the fans. It can work two ways, but I think today's fans are very fickle, and they probably would just jumped on the Seth Rollins bandwagon and say, you know what, screw it. This can really backfire on Roman Reigns. He can say, what if when he does come back, people are gonna look at him, so, oh, it's Mr. Druggy, he's back. You know, other wrestlers have been busted before, but none to the level that Roman Reigns is in. You could say Alberto Del Rio. We could say a couple other people. It's like John Cena. John Cena ever get busted for wellness policy? Then WWE would cover that big time because that's something they don't want nobody to really that to come out. So it's kind of a really hard thing to think. What will happen, Rick, if he comes back and he gets no reaction and people look at him as Mr. Druggy?
Well,
Fans are very hard.
again, if you notice, he was getting booed. So I think if he comes back as a heel, it would probably be a good thing. Come back and say, you know what, whatever. I don't care what you guys think. You never liked me anyway, so too bad. Even a part of me wondered if maybe it was fictional, it was part of a kayfabe. But from what I understand, the wellness policy is done outside. So I'm guessing it's probably legitimate. But either way, I still see that Roman Reigns is going to get a little slap on the wrist, and that'll be that because he is a major player. But you know what? We're going to wrap things up right now, and we want to
Wait a
know
minute,
you.
Rick. Before you wrap it up, one more topic. We got to go off real quick before you hang up. What about the brand split? Who is going to run SmackDown? Now Shane is running SmackDown.
You know, I keep on hearing about they're bringing all these people back in hopes they can run SmackDown. I still think that Stephanie and Shane's going to wind up on Raw, and they're going to bring somebody who we completely unexpect to come in and run SmackDown because in short, you need that kind of sibling rivalry because right now that story is going on. So you never know how well that's going to go. Again, I'm just gonna wait and see what comes. I'm not even gonna try to make any predictions on that one. Again, we're gonna wrap this one up, and we want to know you, the fans, hardcore wrestling radio fans. What do you think? Are we full of shit? Do you agree with us? What's your thoughts about Paige not posing nude and Playboy? Please put your comments in the comment section below. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to join in the chat room, and you can say what you want, how you want to say it, head on over to facebook.com in the group sections under the name HWR Chat Room. I am your hardcore host, and I would love to thank again Joseph Knight for joining me. Joe, what do you got going on?
Pretty much, we're we're bringing back the CWA in September. We were going to do it in August, but we have to hold up for a bit. So we're going to redo it in September. You can also follow me on Twitter. My Twitter account has been going really busy, and you can follow me on Twitter at JKnightCWA. You can follow me on Facebook, me personally, at facebook.com Joseph Knight Manager. You can also join me and Rick. Here's DK Retro, which is Danger Nights Retro, where we do game reviews, movie reviews, TV reviews of classic shows, classic movies, and classic. We will do reviews and some current stuff today. We're going. I'm basically going to be working on a couple of new game videos that's going to come up. I'm going to do a little blog regarding a couple of TV shows that I want to get done. Main one was Speed Racer. I don't know if fans remember that. It was an old cartoon, Japanese cartoon. I'm going to be writing up something about that with a couple of pictures and videos. So fans, tune over, head over there, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook. If you want to check out my promotion, Classic Wrestling Association, just go to facebook.com, Classic Wrestling Association, and my tongue is tired.
And with that, for Joseph Knight, I am your hardcore host, Rick Head, saying we'll see you when we